Acting, whether it be theatrical, film, or whatever else in between, isn't as easy as it may seem, no matter how effortless some of our faves may make it out to be.
Oh my God, look at that.
And have helicopters and crew and people down below and be 3 feet away from them and shoot it.
Michael B. Jordan, or Michael Bay Jordan for the stands in the back, decided to take his chance in the world of acting, starting out as a wee youngin'. Being casted in shows like The Wire, he'd steadily built his resume in the world of make-believe, appearing in countless films such as Chronicle, and later making his mark with roles in Fantastic Four, Fruitvale Station, and Creed. It hadn't been till he was casted in his biggest role to date, playing antagonist Eric Killmonger alongside Chadwick Boseman, Lupita Nyong'o, and other A-list actors in the historic Oscar-nominated film Marvel's Black Panther. The film single-handedly placed Michael on the map as a Hollywood heartthrob. But despite all the praise and accolades he was getting, what people didn't know was the internal turmoil he was battling due to the effect the character had on Michael's mental state. He credited method acting, the technique actors use to literally channel their characters, for aiding him in getting into the very much lonely, yet very much evil genius mindset. In fact, it took such a toll on his overall well-being that Michael had to seek therapy after it all ended, which leaves us wondering just how dangerous method acting truly is. The Black Panther film was truly a moment in time that had all of us, especially Black America, digging through our closets, dusting off our made-in-China African dashikis, showing up and showing out at our local theaters. Aluminum foil-covered plates in tow, and fam we hadn't seen in months. Michael Jordan's character in the film displayed him as a villainous yet relatable antagonist who yearned for King T'Challa's throne in the technologically advanced fictional country of Wakanda. In order to prep for the role, Michael made sure to really set into his character by embodying all of Killmonger's characteristics. After reading the script, he knew Killmonger didn't have much of a social life growing up as an orphan child in Oakland, so Michael decided to go the loner route in concocting his character making to shut out everyone and anything not aligning with the villain, on and off set, leading up to filming. The love emotion was also something he would shut out and off, giving him the opportunity to completely channel the pain and rage Killmonger was about. On the contrary, a normal actor is able to get in and out of character as soon as they hear the words action and cut.
Ready and action!
Michael, on the other hand, basically took Killmonger with him off-set and brought him everywhere he'd go. This, on top of wanting to channel the black plight, ultimately all caught up with him on a mental and spiritual level. To further embody the Killmonger role, he'd further isolated himself and had kept a journal that he'd write in from the point of view of the character. The journal was in-depth and filled with depressing entries since Killmonger didn't have his mother growing up and had always stayed in and out of foster care. It allowed him to lock in and go to that place in his mind right before scenes. Despite the mental agony he had gone through, say what you want, but Michael's method acting definitely paid off. The film went on to break numerous records and made history by being the first superhero film to be nominated for an Academy Award. As challenging as the portrayal of Killmonger was, the real challenge seemed to be readjusting to normalcy after everything was all said and done. In order to help him get back to being him, therapy was needed to unpack all of that emotional heavyweight Michael had been subconsciously holding on to. Michael's case wouldn't be the first time that we hear about such rhetoric concerning this type of acting. The method itself is a range of training and rehearsal techniques formulated by a number of different theater practitioners seeking to encourage authentic performances through identifying with, understanding, and experiencing a character's emotions. Some of the most profile cases of the method being used are by actors Michelle Williams, who slept, walked, and moved like Marilyn Monroe for her starring film My Week with Marilyn; Hilary Swank, who spent a month preparing for an audition by living as a man, cutting off her hair, binding her breast, and sticking socks down the front of her jeans; Jamie Foxx, who had glued his eyes shut, don't ask us how, for 14 hours a day during the filming of the film Ray and others. Although it can be quite useful and has its perks, the dangers of using such technique can be scary, in some cases even irreversible. Even a quick Google search of the method will display phrases like not acting, dangerous, pretentious, bad, overrated, radical, and revolutionary. Its roots can really be traced back to the work done by Russian theater practitioner Konstantin Stanislavski, who developed the acting system. The Stanislavski method puts emphasis on the art of experiencing the emotional and psychological processes of a character, rather than simply being the character on stage. As with any process, things can always backfire, as it most certainly has given the following examples of actors and actresses. Nicolas Cage had his teeth pulled without any anesthetic and ate a live cockroach in Vampire's Kiss. Christian Bale dropped over 20 pounds and starved himself for his role in The Machinist. Shia LaBeouf pulled a number of extreme stunts during his 2014 film Fury that included him yanking out his own tooth and refusing to shower for weeks, to the point Brad Pitt had to step in and tell him to stop being afraid of soap and water. Leonardo DiCaprio's use of method acting in The Revenant nearly caused his body to shut down due to a close case of hypothermia, and in the movie Django, he'd slammed down his fist so hard on a table that he ended up cutting his hand on shattered glass. Off topic, but he ended up smearing the blood all over Kerry Washington's face. Potent. Heath Ledger's role as the Joker in The Dark Knight Rises also raised hella eyebrows when it was discovered that he had died due to a drug overdose not too long after the film had finished wrapping. Despite his sister coming out to say that the role had nothing to do with Heath's death, many people still aren't convinced. Although not quite as dangerous as the others mentioned, Jared Leto's portrayal as the Joker in 2016's Suicide Squad, whether you loved it or thought his Joker was giving Hot Topic tease, it was public knowledge that he had used method acting to get in and stay in character. He may have taken it a bit overboard when it was said that he had sent gifts to his castmates consisting of Margot Robbie and Will Smith, a live rat, an envelope full of bullets, as well as used condoms. Yeah, you heard that right. I think it's safe to say that method acting should only be practiced by professionals. Then again, even the so-called professionals aren't quite using it that well, so maybe the practice needs to be done away with altogether? While some worship the method and credit for polishing their craft, others hate it with their entire being. Will Smith himself had shot his shot at the method a few times in the past, but swears he'd never do it again, stating that the psychological ground fallout is horrendous.
Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me.
Others have come out and shared their experiences with similar testimonies. Michael B. Jordan's role as Eric Killmonger may have solidified his spot in Hollywood, skyrocketed his career, and boosted him to a higher position on our celeb crush hierarchy chart, but that all came with the overall price of his mental and emotional well-being. The price to pay overall for such levels of success isn't going to be a small one. Putting his all into both physically and mentally helped him reach the pinnacle he's at today. But is there ever anything worth more value than your mental health? Overall, method acting can be a dangerous tool to dive into, despite naysayers saying and claiming otherwise. I think it's safe to say that method acting should only be attempted by the pros. Michael highly suggests therapy after such an intense experience, and for anyone needing to depress. As a man, I think we get a lot of slack for it. The whole, you know what it is to be masculine. I don't really subscribe to that because I feel like everybody needs to unpack and talk, whether it's with a therapist or a close friend. And that, we couldn't agree more with. What do you think about method acting? Are you surprised Michael needed therapy? Let us know your thoughts and opinions down below in the comments section, and stay tuned for more true celebrity stories.